The Trump administration is currently dealing with a massive roadblock, and I'm not sure they know how to overcome this one. It really boils down to the fact that when you look at the court system and the federal government, people working for those generally know how to read. What do I mean by that? Well, let's talk real quick about OMB Memorandum M-25-13. I've previously covered this, but this is the attempt to remove all the grants that the federal government already has approved by Congress. This would do things like gut Medicaid. This would stop funding food for children and Section 8 housing, all cancer research, a whole bunch of things. Basically, if federal money is going to it and it's been approved by Congress, this would put a stop to it. The Trump administration made it very clear that that's not what they're doing. The issue is that is what was written down. That is the words they used. And then it doesn't help that when they released an exhaustive list of things that would be affected, the things they claimed weren't affected were affected. This went in front of a judge. And when it went in front of a judge, what did the judge do? Well, they put a pause on it until at least Monday, and then they're going to have a hearing on it because so many states immediately taking the federal government to court because they can also read. And now we have this behind me. OMB Memorandum M-25-13 is rescinded. If you have questions about implementing the president's executive orders, please contact your agency general counsel. So yes, it got rescinded. It got stopped. For now, at least, they've given up. And it didn't help that people could also read history books and check Google and found out that Nixon, don't base your presidency on Nixon, Nixon tried to do the same thing, essentially, went to the Supreme Court, and lost 9-0. There are laws protecting the money from being stopped by the president after it's been approved by Congress. It's just a very simple, basic separation of power. But there's more. There's more problems they're having because people can read. Elon Musk says those deciding to take the deferred resignation deal can do anything they want for the next 8 months and are not required to work at all whatsoever. Now, this is interesting because a lot of these plots have Elon directly tied into it, and he gets personally upset when people call out the reality. Now, Elon says this, but there is a problem. People can read. Fork in the road. This is a phrase used by Elon Musk previously, and now it's being used on this page for this federal employee buyout that isn't really a buyout, and there might not actually be money to pay you, but we'll get there. So, what they're actually doing is what they're calling is a deferred resignation offer. And on this page, we have everything. We have the explanation of why they say they're doing it, and we have the actual letter. And the big change is that you don't have to return to office. So if you haven't been paying attention, a lot of people haven't. There's a lot. It's a lot. The federal government is requiring all of the employees to return to office, whether you need to physically be there or not, whether it makes it more effective or not, it doesn't matter. Unless you're Donald Trump, then you just go golfing. And of course, somehow Elon, I guess, has to be in office for Doge, but also in office for all of his companies. Oh, wait, he doesn't do that because it's not efficient. Never mind. But the government, they have to return to office. Honestly, it's just a way some people can't do it for various reasons. It's a way to fire people. So this here is setting up that you will resign in September. So if I sign this and I'm resigning in September, do I have to do work now? And the answer is yes. Right here. I am certain of my decision to resign, and my choice to resign is fully voluntary. I understand my employing agency will likely make adjustments in response to my resignation, including moving, eliminating, consolidating, reassigning my positions and tasks, reducing my official duties, and or placing me on paid administrative leave. So you have a little happy scenario. They're giving you a hypothetical. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is that they're going to, after the offer date for this is like February 6th, I get the feeling they're going to do a mass firing, and then the people who are dumb enough to sign this still have to do their jobs until September, where they also get fired. That's my expectation, because they want to cut a huge amount of the federal government, millions of people out of work. But then on top of that, there might not be money to pay you because there's a thing called laws, and if you read them, I know reading's a problem, it doesn't work out well. So here is voluntary separation incentive payments. So there are limits to what you can be offered to quit. This is the same website. Voluntary Separation Incentive Payment Authority, also known as Buyout Authority, allows agencies that are downsizing or restructuring to offer employees lump sum payments up to $25,000. Yeah, that is way less than they were going to get paid between now and September. If you're a federal employee, why would I sign it, right? If I sign it, the money might not be there because of this. If I sign it, I might just be getting an increased workload because of all the people that got fired. And then because you signed it, you might be giving up your option later in the future, in a future administration maybe, to get paid. Get a nice, big, chunky payout for being wrongfully terminated. It doesn't make sense. I think it's going to be an absolute failure without many resignations, and I think that there's going to be a lot of anger in the Trump administration. Now, with reading causing so many issues, I feel like I need to mention something that the White House spokesman has something to say. Donald Trump is wanting to cut funding to public schools if they teach things in ways he doesn't like. Oh, did they teach history in a way that's too negative about like the South and slavery? Maybe they don't need to, your kids don't need to learn. Did they mention gay people exist? Well, maybe your kid doesn't need to be able to read. Of course, that'll go into legal battles, because of course it will. But a lot of the stuff happening in the Trump administration, people go, they can't do that. Like the things they're demanding and claiming, they can't do that. They haven't read the laws. They don't know them. They're going to go to court. They're going to have to fight. And in the meantime, Americans are going to suffer. Like it's wild that they were so close to literally gutting, feeding children, housing children, childcare, things like Pell Grants, cancer research, Medicaid. All these types of things were on the chopping block. And if you give them the benefit of the doubt, what they wanted, because it was on the chopping block, by the way it was written, the best case scenario is they're incompetent. The worst case is they were hoping to push it through with deniability. They didn't know it would do that. And they gave up so far. Because as soon as it got challenged in court, they know what was going to happen, right? They knew it's going to get challenged in court, and it's going to lose. Trump is going to lose. And I guess we'll see. Now, how is this... How do I want to put this? How is Trump faring in the court of public opinion instead of like the federal courts? And you can look this up if you don't believe me. I don't know the exact district right now off the top of my head, but I did do a lot of double checking because I was like, what? What do you mean? There is a district that Trump won last election, 2024, just a few months ago. They had a special election, 2025, January. Just a couple days ago, we got the results. Well, yes, yesterday we got the results. Trump should have, if he won, it should be a Republican, right? Democrats got 21 more points than Trump did. Now, why is that? I think it's pretty simple. What he's doing is currently, actively, at this moment, energizing Democrats to go out and vote. And a lot of MAGA Republicans, with Trump not on the ballot, don't show up. Now, what does this mean in 2 years? Maybe nothing. The Democratic Party, I'm going to be honest, Hakeem Jeffries posting Bible quotes on Twitter, not really exciting people. The Democrats could very easily burn out all excitement in 2 years. Definitely burn it all out in 4, right? So, who knows how it'll fare in the future. But that is the first indicator we have, and of course, people were not happy about that. So yeah, definitely weird times with a lot of things just being said that if you are able to read, you know are not true. I would not take this personally. And I know a lot of people that work in the federal government or have worked in the federal government have made public statements saying, if you take this, you are setting yourself up for tons of problems because the money literally isn't there.